Why liberating masculinity? As mentioned earlier in our discussion of confined masculinity, we chose the terms confined and liberating in part because of their grounding in the work of psychiatrist Shoma Morita. Morita's notion of the extended self includes an awareness of the needs of others and behavior that leads to service. We opted to modify Morita's terminology by using liberating rather than extended. We believe liberating masculinity better conveys the way this version of manhood involves an emancipation from the restrictions imposed by confined masculinity. An inflexible obedience to traditional man rules effectively imprisons men. Liberating masculinity speaks to the way this alternative approach breaks men out of what's sometimes called the man box. We also believe the word liberating, more than extended, speaks to how a masculinity centered on a me and we perspective is about two kinds of freedom. Liberating masculinity releases a man from living a cramped life. At the same time, this masculine ethos calls on him to help others live freer, fuller, and more meaningful lives. That second sense of liberation, especially, dovetails with Morita's view of the extended self. And we will often talk about liberating masculinity as involving men extending and expanding their self-awareness such that they become more mindful of the welfare and needs of others. Liberating masculinity is fundamentally about expanding and developing in multiple directions. These include reaching outward to connect, understand, and help others, as well as elevating one's consciousness to comprehend a more complex, interdependent world. It also implies growing downward by developing deep roots in a solid foundation of personal morals and self-awareness. The downward growth is an inward expansion. That is, liberating masculinity not only frees men to express themselves outwardly in new ways, it enables them to enjoy a richer interior life as well. This is very different from the self-absorption of confined masculinity, which is primarily focused on fulfilling basic desires like sexual satisfaction, social status, and a sizable salary. For the liberating man, internal growth has to do with greater self-knowledge, including heightened recognition of one's desires, one's unique path, and one's fundamental link to all of life. This down and in growth results in a greater sense of rootedness, belonging, and purpose. It gives life to becoming a multifaceted man. We also chose the ing ending to liberating to convey the kinetic, dynamic nature of this manhood. Liberating masculinity has definition and clear characteristics. Yet it also enables a man to continually emerge and develop by sensing and responding to the evolving conditions in which he finds himself. While confined masculinity tends to be fixed and cramped, liberating masculinity is open, more fluid, and freer to adapt, change, mature, and ripen. Defining liberating masculinity. Liberating masculinity is a spacious version of masculinity, one that makes room for ongoing growth. It directs a man toward the opposite end of the continuum from confined masculinity. Liberating masculinity frees a man to play a larger variety of roles. Besides widening the what a man can be, liberating masculinity also broadens the how, where, and for whom. With respect to the roles a man can assume, liberating masculinity embraces the multiple dimensions that humans possess and the many archetypes available to men. These include the options central to confined masculinity: provider, protector, and conqueror. But it also enables men to embody additional roles, including but not limited to lover, sage, artist, adventurer, healer, and little boy.